Hey guys, welcome back. Today is day 38 and we're going to learn how to write inequalities from graphs. So let's start by looking at the warm-up for today. You should have looked at it and tried it out. We'll go over it. So this is a review of what we did last class. Last class we learned how to graph the inequalities. So we learned that you take the inequality and first make sure it's in slope-intercept form, and this one is not. So I'm going to start by subtracting 6x from both sides. And when I do that, I get negative 3y is greater than negative 6x plus 12. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, but I want you to be careful because you notice we divided both sides by a negative, so we need to flip the inequality symbol. So this is going to be y is less than 2x minus 4. Okay, so from here, we identify our slope. Our slope is 2, and our y-intercept is negative 4. Okay, so we got the slope and the y-intercept. So to graph it, we're going to start at the y-intercept of negative 4, plot that point, and then the slope is 2. So we're going to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. Okay, now if you notice, the inequality symbol is just less than, so that's going to be a dashed line. Okay, so we're going to make this dashed line. It's going to go like this. Okay. And now we've got to figure out what side of the line to graph, to shade rather. So we're going to use a test point. The test point that I'm going to use is, I'm going to use 0, 0 for my test point. There it is. So let's put in the test point of 0, 0. And we plug it in. We can plug it into either inequality since they are equivalent. So I'm going to go back to the original and say 6 times 0. Minus 3 times 0, is that greater than 12? We end up with 0 is greater than 12, but it is not greater than 12, so we're going to actually shade this other side here. So it's going to look like this. Okay. So the next question's asking us, is the ordered pair 2, 0 a solution to the above inequality? If you notice, the point 2, 0 is right there on the dashed line. Because it's on the dashed line, it's actually not part of the solution set. So we're going to say no. Okay, we can do that by looking at it at the ordered pair on the graph, or we can plug it, the value 2, 0, back into this inequality. Let's do that. 6 times 2 minus 3 times 0, is that greater than 12? So if we do that, we end up with 12 is greater than 12, and it is actually not greater than 12. It's greater than or equal to, but because our inequality symbol is just greater than, that is not a solution. Okay, so moving on, you can go over the homework answer key, look at the homework answer key for last class and make sure you understand everything. But we're going to start and go through the notes for today. So we're going to learn how to write the inequalities from a graph. Now we're going kind of backwards. All right, so I'm looking at this graph, and the first thing I want to do is identify the y-intercept. If you can see, the graph is intersecting right here at the value of 2. So our b is 2. All right. Now, to identify our slope, we need to look at where the graph crosses at a whole number, like at a corner, so we can calculate the slope between 2 points. So I'm going to look at the 2 points that I have there, and I'm going to use my rise over my run. So I'm going to go up 2, and then I'm going to go to the left 3. So my slope is actually negative 2/3. Okay. So I look now at the line, and I look at the shading. All right, so the shading, if you notice, my y value is at 3, but the shading is below 3. It's actually below the value there. So because it's less than or below, we know it's going to be either less than or equal to. Okay, so we're looking just at those y values. So because it's shaded all right here down below it, it's less than or equal to. But step 4, so that's going to be less than or equal to. Now we look at the line, is it dashed or solid? It's just a dashed line, so we know that it's just going to be less than. Okay, so we put those pieces together and we get our inequality, and our y is going to be less than our slope, which is negative 2/3 x. Okay, so negative 2/3 is our slope times x plus 2. Okay, so there's our inequality. All right, so let's try a few more. Okay, all right, if I look at number 1, I first identify my y-intercept, which is 2. And in this case, my slope, I'm going to go All right, I've got up to and over 1, so I've got a slope of 2 as well. So I've got a slope and a y-intercept of 2. All right, this is a solid line. Okay, and if I look at my y-intercept, if you notice, it's shaded above. Okay, so it's greater than. All right, so this is going to indicate it's greater than or equal to because of that solid line. So we put the pieces together in slope-intercept form, and our y is going to be greater than or equal to 2x plus 2. All right, and you guys have access to Desmos, so it's a perfect opportunity to pull up Desmos and check your work, all right, and make sure that they match up. All right, let's look at number 2. All right, number 2, right here, our y-intercept is going to be a -1, and our slope here, if we go down 1 and over 1, make sure that, okay, yep, so we've got a slope of -1. All right, so in this case, our line is dashed, okay, so that means it's going to be either less than or greater than, okay, but let's look at our y values, and if you notice they are going this direction, they're shaded below, so it's actually going to be less than. Okay, so let's put the pieces together in slope-intercept form. So y is going to be less than our slope, which is -1 or negative x minus 1. Okay, so there's our inequality. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3 is a special case. It is a horizontal line. So we're going to think of HOI. Okay, horizontal line means that the inequality is going to start with y is less. So if we look at the y-intercept, it's 0. And it is a solid line. Okay, it is solid. And everything is shaded below that line. So y is going to be less than or equal to 0. Okay, and then looking at number 4 is, okay, if we look at, all right, so number 4, if we look at that, that's another special case, only it's a dashed line. All right, so it's a vertical line, so it's going to be x. So we're thinking of Vox, right? So it's a vertical line. Our x value is going to be -2. So this is just going to be greater than -2. All right, so those are some examples of how to take a graph and write the inequality based upon the graph. All right, let's look at a couple of word problems for linear inequalities. Example 1, Donald is sending a fancy organic fruit basket to his grandmother for her birthday. Apples cost $2 each and oranges cost $4 each. Donald must stay under his budget of $35 for the gift. Okay, so it's going to be under his budget, but because it is his budget, we're going to say it's less than or equal to 35. Okay, we'll let him spend up to the $35. We want to write the inequality in standard form that describes the situation. So remember, standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, but in this case, it's going to be an inequality. So our apples are going to be $2 each, and our oranges are going to be $4 each. So if we put them together, we've got $2 for each apple plus $4 for each orange, and it's going to be less than or equal to the $35. So that inequality would represent this situation. All right, looking at the next one, maybe you want to pause the video and try this one yourself, but it says, during a special sale, all video games cost $16 and all movies cost $10. Spencer plans to spend some or all of his $180 in birthday money on these movies and video games. Write the inequality in standard form that describes the situation. Use the given numbers and the following values. So since video games are $16 each and movies are $10, and he wants to spend some or all of. So some or all means that he can spend less than or equal to 180. Okay, so if we put that together in standard form, it would be 16x plus 10y is less than or equal to 180. Okay, so that's all you had to do for that. All right, so now I want you to, you can complete the exit ticket on the back of the warm-up and then work on 38B. But before you get started on 38B, I want to just show you the first example, okay, just so that you're not confused. So since this is a study guide for the test that's coming up in 2 blocks, I wanted to review a little bit about standard form, okay? So if we have a slope of 1 and a point of -3, 2, remember point slope form, we would use this point and we would put it in point slope form by saying y minus 2 is equal to 1 times x plus 3. All right, there's our point slope form. Now to get to slope intercept form, from there we would distribute, okay, and then we would add the 2 to both sides, and we would get y is equal to x plus 5. Okay, so that's, all right, so it's going to be, whoops, let's erase that. So our y is going to be equal to x plus 5. So these are both equivalent equations. They're just in two different forms. One is point slope form, the other is slope intercept form. Now to get it to standard form, we're going to get it into the form of ax plus by is equal to c. So when we do that, we're going to bring the x to the other side, so negative x plus y is equal to 5. However, if you remember, with standard form, the a value cannot be negative, and you cannot have fractions. So your a, b, and c can't be fractions, your a can't be negative. So we're going to get rid of that negative by multiplying both sides by negative 1. So we end up with x minus y is equal to negative 5. Okay, so there it is in standard form. So I just wanted to do a quick little review on that homework before you started it. Okay, good luck. Bye.